Hello and welcome back for this week's video edition of The Greatest Record Ever Made. I'm Carl Caffarelli. I'm the co-host of This is Rock and Roll Radio with Dana and Carl, heard every Sunday night from 9 to midnight Eastern here in Syracuse on Spark, WSPJ, 103.3, 93.7 FM, and on the web at sparksyracuse.org. I am also a writer, and I'm working on a book called The Greatest Record Ever Made, Volume 1, dedicated to the notion that an infinite number of songs can each be the greatest record ever made as long as they take turns. And records, turns. Get it? This week's greatest record ever made spotlight falls on Neil Diamond and a song called Brother Love's Traveling Salvation Show. Now I look back, the first Neil Diamond performance I remember hearing specifically was a less iconic hit of his called Walk on Water. I heard on AM radio in Syracuse, probably on WOLF AM, might have been on WNDR. And that was the first time that I associated the name Neil Diamond with a song that I heard. I probably heard something before that, seems likely, but I didn't have any specific connection of name to song until that time. I certainly had heard Neil Diamond's songs before as performed by the Monkees. As a kid in the 60s, I remember the Monkees TV show. I remember the hits. I'm a first-generation Monkees fan. I was 7 years old in 1967 when I'm a Believer was the number one song in the country, and it's contained on More of the Monkees, their second album. We had that at the time in a larger 12-inch vinyl version. I have the CD here. That included both I'm a Believer, Neil Diamond song, and another Neil Diamond composition, Look Out, Here Comes Tomorrow. Monkees recorded a total of 4 Neil Diamond songs at the time, one of which was unreleased until many, many years later, Love to Love. That's actually my favorite of the lot. And in addition to those two, and Love to Love, there was also the hit single A Little Bit Me, A Little Bit You, which was a non-album single. I don't think it was ever featured on the TV show, and I don't remember hearing it at all until the mid to late 70s. But Walk on Water was the first Neil Diamond song that I knew. As time went on, Solitary Man eventually became my favorite Neil Diamond song, and more recently challenged for that position by Brother Love's Traveling Salvation Show. I'm going to do something that I haven't done in these past videos. I'm going to read the chapter in its entirety, because I think it tells the story a little bit better than I can do off the cuff. So, if you will. Faith is infectious. Its specifics can vary from believer to believer, even among those who share a covenant. Among his vast resume of well-known pop compositions, Neil Diamond wrote both I'm a Believer and Brother Love's Traveling Salvation Show. The former is a love song that casually employs elements of the celestial. The latter evokes gospel without being gospel, a not quite secular, not quite sacred first-person report of a man with a Bible in his hand, a sermon in his heart, and a tent full of believers primed for salvation on a hot August night. Brothers! Knowing the subsequent successful arc of Diamond's career as a performer, it's odd to look back and realize that when he started out as a songwriter for other artists, he wasn't initially as successful as other Don Kirshner bullpen players like Neil Sedaka, Carole King and Jerry Goffin, or Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil. He scored his first win with Sunday and Me, a number 18 hit for Jay and the Americans in 1965. Greater success followed as a recording artist himself, commencing with Solitary Man in 1966, and when the Monkees recorded some of his songs in 66 and 67. The number 1 hit, I'm a Believer, the number 3 hit, A Little Bit Me, A Little Bit You, and the popular album track, Look Out, Here Comes Tomorrow, which was featured on the Monkees TV series. Diamond was a star from that point on. I say, brothers! When I was in my mid-20s, managing a record store in Buffalo, people would occasionally tell me that I looked like Neil Diamond. I never saw the resemblance at all, but my hair was long, parted just so, and I guess that was enough to persuade a few mostly older customers, and believe it or not, my mother, that I resembled them, that I reminded them a little bit of the guy who sang those boring love songs on the radio. It was not a cool comparison for a rock and roller to hear in 1985 or 1986. I don't remember whether or not I had any real appreciation of Neil Diamond at the time. I detested his 80s fare. Love on the Rocks and Hello Again, America, Heartlight. I was an avowed pop fan, but I didn't view that stuff as pop like I envisioned pop. This was strictly middle of the road, mellow. It was old people's music. I still don't have any affection for it. But some of Diamond's earlier records from the 60s and into the early 70s were flippin' fantastic. If I didn't realize it when people were saying I looked like a diamond, an understanding and embrace of classic Neil Diamond would come to me before long. Because Diamond's run of early singles is nothing short of amazing. Solitary Man, Cherry Cherry, The Boat That I Row, B-side to I Got the Feeling, Oh No No, which itself would have been a decent tune for the Archies, and I mean that as a compliment. Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon, Thank the Lord for the Nighttime, and Kentucky Woman, all released 1966 to 67, form a dynamic barrage of peppy and exciting pop bubbles bursting in air. Solitary Man and Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon imply tension and maturity within a pure pop format. Hey, open letter to my 1980s self. This stuff rocks. Get over yourself. Brother Love's Traveling Salvation Show is the zenith. Released in 1969, the single testifies on behalf of a ragged tent preacher serving up that old-time religion before a rapt, sweaty audience held in the absolute thrall of his words and their devotion. Diamond is Jewish. I was raised as a Catholic, but I no longer consider myself part of the church. I'm not a believer, and I presume Neil isn't either. Yet this song invites, incites, and embraces a faith, a specific faith, in a way that somehow transcends creed. The message is pure. There's no hint of condescension, no iconoclastic suggestion that our earnest evangelical brother Love is anything other than a dedicated servant of God. Brothers! There are souls to save. Reach out your one hand to your brother in need. Reach out your other hand to the man up there. That's what he's there for. To promote the song, Diamond made an appearance on TV's The Johnny Cash Show. His performance is riveting, accompanied by Diamond's own dramatic sermon on the story's circumstances from his point of view. A college-educated, know-it-all kid from New York City, born of a different faith, attends a revival meeting in Jackson, Mississippi. The kid is smug, initially intent on little more than slumming. But he finds himself, quote, really caught up in the music, the clapping, the singing. Tremendously exciting. His view changes. His unearned sense of superiority falling to dust, the steel gates of his mind parting like the Red Sea. He feels the passion of these people, their hopes, the difficulty of their hardworking lives, the yearning for meaning, for faith, for deliverance. I say, brothers, salvation. The trailer for Quentin Tarantino's 2019 film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood uses the song to different effect, as it plays at the moment when the audience first catches a glimpse of Charles Manson. In that context, Brother Love's Traveling Salvation Show serves as a cautionary tale, a warning against trusting devils who have the power to assume a pleasing shape. But that's not what the song itself is about, either on record or in its annotated form on The Johnny Cash Show. It's a song of belief, a non-denominational psalm of divine conviction, sacred and secular. Take my hand in yours. Walk with me this day. Pack up the babies and grab the old ladies. Everyone goes, because everyone knows. Hallelujah. Diamond's next hit was Sweet Caroline, Good Times Never Seem So Good, also in 1969. Sweet Caroline and some of his early 70s work retained a palpable depth. Honestly, I don't even really mind I Said, notwithstanding its much derided lyric about no one hearing at all, not even the chair. Listen, it rhymes, it works. The middle of the road beckoned. Diamond's talent as an earnest balladeer was beyond question. His popularity from the 70s forward was and is richly deserved. I just wasn't part of that audience. I'm still not part of that audience. That's okay. Neil Diamond had already given me much in which to believe. And I swear, I looked nothing like Neil Diamond. People were weird in the 80s. Neil Diamond currently is retired from performing. He has a new record coming out, I hear, though it's going to be remakes of his older stuff, if that's the case. I doubt I'll be interested in it. He did an album a few years back with Rick Rubin that has its moments, especially a bonus track that he did with Brian Wilson and Brian Wilson's backing band that is just absolutely mesmerizing. He's done a lot of great stuff. Some of it is to my taste, some of it is not. Which is what we want. And the line about the chair, I'm telling you. Chairs just don't listen. They don't listen. They didn't listen to Neil Diamond. They didn't listen to Clint Eastwood. They're not going to listen to us. Thank you for joining me this week for the greatest record ever made. Next week, the spotlight falls upon Crazy Elephant, a band that did not exist, but still recorded a song called Gimme Gimme Good Lovin'. That is the greatest record ever made. Below you'll see options to support, to tip and subscribe, and I hope that you will take advantage. I say brothers. Thank you for joining me today on the greatest record ever made.